Welcome to the Filum Podcast. I've been anticipating this film for months. In the UK, A24 wait an uncomfortably long time to bring some of their movies to us, but it's finally here. The Philippou brothers gave the world a film called Talk to Me back in 2022. It was kind of terrifying, but also grungy and edgy. It definitely had something about it. So can Bring Her Back match? Let's find out. I've just seen Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back is one of those horror films that comes up every now and then, where you don't know anything about it, right? And you just hear bits and bobs. It's taken so long to come to the UK that I was seeing stuff about it, and I've tried to avoid as much as possible. It's been difficult, I've got to be honest. It's been very difficult. And I didn't know, I was thinking to myself, well, am I building this up a little bit too much? There was my expectations, and then there was the movie. It's just going to be something that happens. It's a movie that you're going to see, and it's going to start, it's going to have a middle, and it's going to have an end, and you're going to go out and you're going to do a review, and you're going to be like, okay, fine. But you know what? This film is way better than my expectations could ever have been. And I think we should talk about why. We're going to do as spoiler-free as possible because I don't want to ruin this film for anybody. Let's go home and let's talk about Bring Her Back. A film comes along every now and then, and it's a film that just astonishes you, that just makes you go, wow. And I think Bring Her Back is most definitely one of those. Another case for horror being my favourite genre. It's a bit of a supernatural horror film. And I think that's my favourite kind of horror movie, is those ones that are a little bit weird from a supernatural perspective. So when you get a horror film that comes along that's got just a shit ton of tension, then I appreciate that much more than a horror film that comes along and just does a load of screamy stuff. And I think Bring Her Back definitely has tension. It's got tension etched into its very soul, and it's all the better for it. What I wasn't expecting was to start tearing up during this, and I wasn't expecting to start getting upset towards the end. But that happened. It happened. And it said to me, I've connected with it. It's worked its magic. And, you know, that is a sensational thing to feel when a movie does that to you. And Bring Her Back did. It's kind of got a mixture of everything that you'd want. And none of it is over the top. It doesn't go too far with any of it. I said the same thing about Fantastic Four, which is a really weird thing to bring up in a review for Bring It Back, but yeah, I talked about it in Fantastic Four. It does not go too far with anything in the film, and this is the same. This doesn't go too far with any of it. It's Goldilocks' porridge, right? The one that's just right, the one that's perfect. Let's go from the beginning. I think this is probably the only way we can do this. If we talk about Bring Her Back from the very start of the movie, we've got a brother and sister, and we've got a tragic event that happens to both of them. Brother and sister in the sense of biological son, and you've got adopted daughter. They make up that family. As I say, there's a tragedy that happens at the beginning of the film to both of those characters. It's really sad, and it's also really scary, and it's also really eerie, and it's also really horrible, I'd say, for a few reasons. Not because it's gruesome or anything like that, just because even though we've just joined this film, we already feel something for those characters. I think that's quite amazing. And I love the fact that like, or probably almost immediately, I was like, okay, right, I'm in. You know, the cinema I was in, it had a reclining seat, and I just reclined it back before the film started, and I was sitting there, and I had my head against the backrest thing, and I was thinking, okay, right, if this is rubbish, then at least I'm comfortable, and I'm feeling good. And it starts, I almost immediately started feeling uncomfortable, not because of the seat, not because of the temperature in the cinema, not because of anything, but because the film started with this weird uncomfortableness without doing anything in particular. It just had that. It had that tension about it, that mysteriousness about it. I had that kind of, what are we going to see here feeling. And I did like that. I did enjoy feeling that at the beginning of this film. And you know, it only got better from there. I just think that's amazing. Where we end up it settles us. The kids end up together still, which is great. We get that scene in the, adoption place, the child services or whatever you want to call it. They've been through something so traumatic, because we've seen it, that we just don't want them to be split up. We have that shocking opening, and we think to ourselves, okay, so where are we going to go from here? What is going to happen from this point on? They end up together, again, in an adoptive parent's house. She's played by Sally Phillips. If I wanted to be adopted by somebody, then I'm pretty sure I'd want to be adopted by her. Could you tell? Was I convincing? Okay, we're not doing spoilers, right? But I don't think it's a spoiler to basically say that things aren't what they seem to be. I mean, this is a movie, right? And this is a horror movie, so of course things aren't what they seem to be. So what are they? What can we say without spoiling it? We're home, we're with Sally Phillips, we're with the kids, and, well, I guess there's 10 minutes of normalness, really. Building a false sense of security. Of course it is. Of course it is. The house is nice. It's all right. It ain't a weird house. It's a perfectly normal house. You'd think, okay, this is nice. There's a pool. There's a decent garden. It's on some decent ground. It's not too bad. But there is a circle of salt or something around the whole place. And I guess that's our first clue to things not being quite what they seem. We've got a young boy. Every time I saw him, there's a phrase from where I'm from, the English town of Liverpool, right? It's a phrase that we use when we get a little bit scared of something or a little bit uneasy. It's basically, I shit myself. That's what I did whenever I saw this boy on screen, because he's so weird to look at. It just makes you uneasy, him being there. It's an absolutely masterful performance. There's no other word I can say, because just looking at him, you go, oh good God. And then it just gets weirder from there. What am I looking at here? And the fact that you don't understand what you're looking at. Even though he's a young boy, a little bit weird and a little bit odd. You don't look at him and go, I hate him. You don't look at him and go, he's a freak. You don't look at him and go any of that. You just look at him and go, I don't understand what this is. It's so strange that it puts you completely on edge. Now, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, right? I'm trying to avoid spoilers very, very much. I'm not going to talk about who he is in the story. I don't think I'm going to do that, because I reckon that's a spoiler. I can't spoil this film for you. I can't do it. And then we got Sally Phillips. And I'll talk about a character name, and I'll talk about his character name. I'll talk about all the character names when I go through the characters in this. But Sally Phillips is, I mean, if you think the young boy is good, then Sally Phillips, it's miraculous. I think this is the most uneasy film, more than any film I've ever seen, ever. The cinema that I've just been to, the screens in that cinema are enormous. I think there's 7 or 8 in there. And they're all massive screens. And this film was projected on one of those massive screens. And it was overwhelming because of that. It had this atmosphere about it that I can't really describe. It's a blend of so many different horror tropes, but also so many different uneasy feelings. I mean, it just throws them at you one after another. It seems to have every element of horror movies in it, and it doesn't overcook any of them. It's got gore, it's got moments that make you go, oh, and it's got moments that make you go closer to the screen, that make you go, it's got moments that make you hold your breath. I think that's the magic of this film. It's unpredictable. I did not know what was going to happen next. I didn't know who was expendable as a character. And again, that made me feel incredibly uneasy, and it put me on edge. There's a thing with Hollywood films, right? Hollywood movies always, pretty much, no matter what film you watch, you can always tell what characters are going to be around at the end of the film. Going back to that whole trope thing I was talking about, it subverts a lot of those traditional horror tropes that we see, particularly in Hollywood-style horror films. That's what made this a level way above anything else that I've seen this year from a horror perspective. If I'm going to describe what this film is about, I think every character in it is suffering grief. That's what this film is about. It's about grief and the different ways that we respond to grief and the different ways that we react to losing someone. That's not a spoiler. That's okay. It's okay to say that. It's just absolutely perfect in the way that it deals with the subjects that it deals with, including grief. They don't give Oscars to horror films, right? It doesn't really happen that often. It's happened every now and then at some point in history. But they really should. I mean, if this is not a lesson in how horror films can affect you on so many levels, Sally Phillips's performance in this is completely 100% affecting in so many different ways. I guess it's proof that she's incredible as an actor. She is damn good. Everybody in this is damn good. The measure of a good film, as well as everything else I've said, is the fact that it's constantly surprising you with new things that happen. It's not letting you settle down. I mean, it's great. It's really good. All right, I've pulled over because we're going to talk about Bring Her Back. We're going to go through the story of this film without spoiling it. So it's going to be difficult, but let's give it a go. I've just seen it, right? I've just seen this film. It's all going around in my head. There's bits of it coming to me, and I'm basically trying to make sense of it all and tell you guys about it. Our two main characters, we've got Piper and we've got Andy. So Andy is 17 years old, and Piper, well, it doesn't really say how old Piper is. I guess she's probably a couple of years younger, so maybe she's 13 or 14, I don't know, maybe 12, maybe 12, 13 or 14, whatever, doesn't matter. They go through this traumatic event at the beginning of the film, and they go through it together. We kind of learn a lot about their characters from that thing that happens. We also learn about the bond they have with each other. And Piper is partially sighted. She can only make out shapes. Blurry shapes is all she can make out. So she's not completely blind, but she also can't see either. That's an added element to the character. The situations that they're going to find themselves in later on are even more tense than anything else we've seen before because we've got a partially sighted character. Andy's kind of the father figure for Piper. And, you know, he wants to stay with her. They're brother and sister, even though they're adopted. They have this bond with each other, and it's a close bond, and they have a kind of, I suppose you can say, an unspoken language between each other. But again, because they've been through a lot, right? They've been through a lot, even though they haven't been together for a long time as brother and sister. So you can see that bond, and the two characters, the two actors that play, I mean, you know, so Billy Barrett, he plays Andy, right? And I mean, he's so good. I mean, the human being that plays him just isn't there anymore, and the character of Andy is there. That's just how it is. He embodies the character so perfectly. And the same with Sora Wong. So Sora Wong, she plays Piper. She's Andy's stepsister, and she is just incredible. I don't know how old she is, but like I say, I guess 12, 13, 14, I don't know. But she is astonishingly good. Oh my God. She's partially sighted, and she like, I mean, it's amazing. Jonah Wren Phillips plays Oliver, and I mean, I can't talk too much about Oliver as a character because that's where the spoilers lie. This kid is the anchor for the whole thing. Everything kind of revolves around him, although we don't know that at the time when we're watching it. Again, that's not a spoiler. It's not going to spoil anything because I guess it just kind of makes you even more intrigued when you know that. He's weird. I mean, he's very, very strange. He's very, very odd and fucking scary, to be honest with you. The tension's built just around the fact that he doesn't say anything at all. It's just great. I mean, it's just great. I called her Sally Phillips. When I said Sally Phillips, I meant Sally Hawkins. Sally Hawkins. She is incredible. She plays Laura. So she plays the mother character in this whole thing. You've got people who act on this level. You've got incredible actors who act on this level. And then you've got Sally Phillips, Sally Hawkins. And you've got Sally Hawkins who acts in another stratosphere. It's in the stratosphere. So Sally Hawkins has been in some other films which are notably amazing, and some other films which are notably shit. I mean, one of the performances that I forgot about is a movie called Blue Jasmine, Now, Blue Jasmine's obviously been tainted a little bit because of Woody Allen, but along with Cate Blanchett, I mean, that is a standout movie of just awesomeness beyond belief. Sally Hawkins is in it, and she just is astonishing. But also she's in Godzilla, the 2014 version, and I think she's in this sequel as well. She's probably the best thing in those films, apart from Zilla himself. She's in those. I guess that's where the big paychecks come from, and that's all good, because the big paychecks allow actors like her to make films like Bring Her Back. And I'm glad that Godzilla exists for that very reason. If you're watching this and you've seen the spoiler-free logo-y thing, and you're like, okay, great, you want to get someone else's view on it, please don't watch a review that's going to spoil it. And if you hear even a remote spoiler, then turn off whatever you're watching. Or if you're reading something, stop reading it. Don't spoil it, because it will spoil it. I mean, literally it will. All of the characters that we get to know throughout this film, no matter who they are, we feel a sympathy for them. They're written so well and they're acted and played so well that we genuinely have a creeping sensation of caring about everybody in this film. And I think that's when Sally Hawkins' character starts to go a little bit crackers. We get a little bit emotionally upset by that, because the person who she's been up to this point, we've kind of got on board with and we've kind of enjoyed. When the character starts to turn, we feel an emotion that we rarely feel when we watch films. We feel an emotion which is disappointment because we liked the character. And now, because of what's going on, we can't like the character anymore. Or can we? What can we do? And the fact that you're conflicted because of that means that Sally Hawkins, the writers, the directors, everybody involved in it is working their magic totally effectively. Ultimately, I think this is a story about grief. I think grief is written all over it. Grief is definitely a major theme in this movie, and it's a theme that, in the end, it's part of the reason why you're conflicted about what happens. To me, that's amazing. That's invisible storytelling. That's invisible characterization. That's an invisibleness that the makers of this film have crafted to work on you in that way. And that's just incredible. So let's sum up Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back is a movie that you have to see. There's no ifs or buts about it. You have to go and see Bring Her Back. You don't need to know anything about it before you go into it. In fact, the less you know, the better. Which is the case for a lot of horror films. But I think this one, definitely know as little about it as you possibly can before you go and see it. It has some of the best performances I've seen in 2025 from everybody. No matter what the age, no matter who they are, it's just totally full of incredible performances. The script is great. The cinematography is just gorgeous and horrible at the same time. We feel isolated, alone, and scared in the place that it's set. And, it's not a big gothic mansion, and it's not like, terrifying woods or anything like that. It's a perfectly normal house. But the way it's done, as we get more and more into it, you just start to feel isolated and you start to feel scared just by the place that it's in. It's been crafted. It's been so well put together that I can't find a single flaw in this film. Not one single flaw. And for that, I don't know. I mean, that's just astonishing, right? And that's what makes it something that you have to go and see. So it's called Bring Her Back, and it's showing at all cinemas everywhere. And I really think this is another reason why the big screen exists, to envelop you in an incredible movie like this. Bring Her Back's available everywhere. So just go and see it. Just go and see it. Thank you for watching the Filum Podcast. I will see you again soon. Keep watching films, keep enjoying them, and go and see Bring Her Back. It's amazing.